rinse foam with a twist. Hi, I'm Ivan. I'm Nick. And this is DIY Detail. This is my vehicle that we pulled behind the bus. It has a lot of mileage on it. The odometer doesn't say so, but it doesn't rack up behind the bus. That being said, it hasn't been washed in a while. It is a coated car. C6 Diamond is on it. And it's been 6 months since we coated it. In that 6 months, it's gone about 20,000 miles.
Look, we like to foam rinse foam and wash cars. We like to teach people how to wash a ceramic coated vehicle. We like to sprinkle education in every video, and that is the promise that we will deliver today. Ivan, you've got a special foam rinse foam to tell them about.
Right.
What is it and why?
We get asked all the time, can I use All Clean on a coated car? Well, I have All Clean diluted 15:1 in here. I have a coated car, coated with C6 Diamond, and it was done some time ago and about 20,000 miles ago. Let's proceed. A lot of people, Nick, have this thing that, a coated car needs special treatment. A coated car needs pH balance this and special that. It doesn't. Oh, and you can't put an APC on windows.
I was gonna ask why you started literally on glass.
Just where I started. Needs to get everywhere because this car is dirty, Nick.
Is there a why to the All Clean, Ivan, or is it just because we can?
In this case, there's a why. Because of following a bus 3 feet behind it, and it's an older engine that doesn't have, let's say, all the new fancy EPA regulated stuff on it. So there's a bit of grease on this, there's a bit of oil.
Is grease and oil what we're attacking here, right? Because All Clean is our degreaser for engines.
Right.
It's our bug gut remover on front bumpers. It is our wheel and tire cleaner. It's not usually what we use to clean the body. And I'm wondering, I guess, what does All Clean do differently than Incredible Suds?
Well, it's a little more aggressive than Incredible Suds is. So with that little more aggression, it's gonna break through that oil very quickly. There we go, Nick. Covered in a luxurious bath of All Clean, diluted 15:1. So 1 gallon of water, 8 ounces of All Clean, just a smidge of Incredible Suds.
Could you do this without a foamer?
You can, but the foam actually does some work for us. If we look at the tires, we see them starting to turn brown. The reason they're doing that is every time a bubble bursts, it's putting fresh All Clean on the surface.
Who would want to use All Clean to pre-treat their vehicle?
Someone that hasn't washed their vehicle in a long time. Someone that had a mishap, had some oil spilled on it, or was in a big traffic jam or something like that where you know it's oily. You work in an industrial area, or someone that just wants to deep clean and get to the root of it. In this case, we had a very dirty car.
Yes, you did.
Now that this has had time to dwell, we get to rinse it off. Now, this has these nice little rails on it, which are a great thing for detailers because I can keep the water between the rails, not get the wall wet, not get things wet here, and just rinse off the roof. Nick, I know you're a fan of the foam cannon, so have fun.
Let's go. Let's foam up Ivan's Ford. It's time for a satisfying contact wash, Ivan LaCroix.
It sure is. Now, I don't think I've ever emptied that much foam on one vehicle, Nick.
Well, it's Christmas in July.
There you go.
Depending on when you watch this, it might actually be Christmas time when this comes out. Enjoy. I hope you're having a good time wherever you are. Don't forget, detailing is supposed to be fun. And if you have the luxury of a nice enclosed garage, you can foam everything willy-nilly. If we were in direct sunlight, would you advise foaming a car and letting the whole thing get foamed at once and just letting it dwell like this?
In direct sunlight, I'm a fan of using rinseless wash.
If it's nighttime though, sunset or early morning,
yeah,
I love the idea of strategically foaming based on the time of day.
Now, speaking of foaming, Nick, did you foam your bucket up?
Oh, I forgot to foam my bucket up. I have the Incredible Suds in the bucket, but I haven't foamed it. The volcano in your wash bucket, not necessary, but highly recommended. For maximum
Unnecessary, but oh so fun.
What are you using as your wash media over there, Ivan?
I've got the perfectly safe brush. That way we're not having to climb on a ladder or a step. What are you using, Nick?
I'm using the Cotton Candy Dream Wash Mitt. It may or may not be in stock depending on the time you see this, but I sure do love. Are you taking care of the windshield too? Thank you.
Yeah, as far as I can reach.
I sure do love an Incredible Suds contact wash.
It is satisfying. Now, just like any wash media, you do a panel and you dunk. Whether you're using a brush, a mitt, a sponge, any of our wash media gets used the same way.
Is there any wisdom to doing lower sections at the end because they're gonna have all the dirt and you don't want to reintroduce that back onto your paint?
If you didn't do the foam rinse foam, then yes, there is. But since we did the foam, we got the grit off the surface first. So I'm not worried about picking up grit in my brush. You're not worried about picking up grit in your wash mitt.
What is grit?
Grit is dust. It's grit. It's gritty. When you feel it, it feels like you have sand between your fingers. Now, Nick, why did you choose the Cotton Candy Dream Wash Mitt over the Incredible Mitt?
Nostalgia.
Okay.
This harks back to our humble beginnings in Omaha, Nebraska. I've always loved this mitt. It may or may not be in stock by the time you wash this. I do love the Incredible Wash Mitt, obviously with Incredible Suds. But, you know, Cotton Candy Dream reminds me that this started as a dream, to kind of make detailing fun again. And hey, a little nostalgia, never hurt anybody. Maybe too much, not a good thing, but just a little taste of the good old days. Yeah, it's kind of fun.
This grill is super easy to clean.
Nice thing about a coated vehicle, it is super easy to clean.
No kidding. So after doing the whole vehicle, the brush is still clean. Every time you put it back in the bucket, it releases what it has. How are the wheels cleaning up, Nick?
Pretty nicely. I'm taking care of them for you.
Unfortunately, we haven't had the time to coat them yet.
The barrels are, they're dirty, but not horrible. I mean, I've seen worse.
So the only thing these wheels have seen is quick beads. I think once or twice, so.
No, I feel like they clean up pretty nice. Not the worst we've seen on the channel, I'll put it that way. Why do we clean the face of the wheel before the barrels, Ivan?
What do you think, Nick?
Here's what I think. You're cleaning the face safely because we've foamed, we've rinsed, we've foamed again, so we've got lubrication cleaning power working for us. We're cleaning the face, right? But let's just imagine we do it the opposite. Let's say I clean the barrel first, and then I take all that crud from inside the barrel, now it's on the wheel face. Now I clean the wheel face second. I've actually brought a bunch of crud onto the face and then driven it in there. If we're DIY detail, if we're all about education, we want to do this safely. So it's clean the face first, then clean the barrel. Whatever we pull off at the end, we're not driving back in with a brush, with a wash mitt, whatever. We're just going to flush it away and move on with our life. So we're just teaching you the safest way to do it. You could go through your life happily doing it the other way, Ivan. But that's not the way we're going to instruct folks if this is a channel about education.
Correct, yeah. We want to make sure we're using the safest method, and that safest method is doing the face first. Some people have done it the other way, and they think, well, the barrel's the dirtiest part, so I want to do that first. But then when you explain it logically, and it's like, actually, yes, the barrel is the dirtiest part, so you want to do any agitation you're doing on the face before you bring any of that dirt out to the face.
I don't think 5-spoke wheels look as cool, but Ivan, you told me 5-spoke wheels are so easy to clean, and I 100% agree with you. I've got them on my Jeep, and when you're in the real world and you're just trying to get your car detailed quickly, it's a real blessing to have easy. I like the idea of a coated car because it's easy to clean. 5-spoke wheels because they're easy to clean. What's your least favorite kind of wheel to clean, Ivan?
Wire wheels. I don't think you've ever run across any of those, Nick, but the 70s style or 50s, 60s, 70s style wire wheels, those were a problem. Now, another thing, people look at our wheel barrel brush and go, is that safe? Yes, it is safe. These Tampico fibers are great. They easily take the dirt off the surface, but at the same time, when you dunk it in here, they release all the dirt too. So we're not carrying dirt back and forth. The other thing is our green wheel and body brush is just spectacular for cleaning the wheel faces. Does a great job. Even if you have those gloss black wheels, you're not gonna scratch it with this when using proper technique. And speaking of proper technique, Nick, it's time to rinse. Nice thing about Incredible Suds, even though dried on the surface, it rinses away cleanly.
It does. People have said they really like that about our soap.
Yeah.
That it doesn't leave a film. Like it just rinses away clean, goes on deliciously sudsy, goes off clean, and you move on. You move on with your day.
Right, and I recently did a challenge with our friend Pan, the organizer, where he challenged me to clean a car for under $50. And I overstepped that challenge very easily, but at the same time, I did it with dish soap. And those of you that are using dish soap, you have the patience of a saint. Rinsing that off took a lot of time.
Ivan, as much as I wanted to get in and get out, you know, get your vehicle washed, move on to the next video, because we got more interesting videos on the channel that we haven't seen the vehicles before. I'm gonna take care of you, okay?
Yeah.
I can tell this needs to be decontaminated.
Right.
And we do enough stuff on here that isn't your. We need to give this the spot treatment. It's a decon-worthy vehicle. You need to decontaminate, even if it's a coated vehicle, periodically.
Right, and like I said, this easily 20,000 miles since it was coated. Most of that 3 feet behind a bus going down the highway. So definitely it needs to be decontaminated. We can see the water behavior is nice, but it could be better.
I didn't feel stuff under my mitt that I feel like we really need to do a deep dive with the quad fold towel, but we may as well just do it the right way.
Yeah, and a bit of clogging is what happens here. This happens to uncoated paint and it happens to coatings as well. And if you think your coating is dead, it's not dead. It just needs a bit of life.
I would call this nice water behavior, but I want to take it from nice
to spectacular.
Spectacular, exactly.
Yeah.
This foaming is just about lubrication for our towel. It's not about show. It's not about extra suds.
Right.
Get it on, get to work.
And with Nick, I don't think he's ever foamed a car with this little amount of foam. Let's see if he can do it.
All right.
It's a challenge.
Challenge accepted. Sometimes if I move too quickly, Ivan says I'm moving too quickly, but that was moving with urgency. In our bucket, I have Incredible Suds. Yep. And I have my quad fold decontamination towel. Ivan, you say it all the time. I'll say it today. One spray on the towel, one spray on the paint. This is way more Incredible Suds than I'm used to. Yeah. Because usually we would just wash it, leave the residue of the Incredible Suds, and then decontaminate. But Ivan, we had to see what this water behavior was like after the wash for me to be like, no. Yeah. It needs a decon. I'm gonna take care of you today, all right? We're not leaving your beautiful vehicle as a 7 out of 10. We're gonna give it a 10 out of 10 treatment today.
Right, and really you don't feel any contamination. So probably it's more mineral clogging than anything else.
And that was my suspicion, right?
Yeah. Because minerals do accumulate on paint. And especially in our context, being right behind the bus, all the spray coming up from the road, this just gets covered.
When in doubt, dip your towel back into your bucket. I'm not in doubt at all, but it's like, how often do you do it? Well, one side of the towel per panel, do 4 panels, and then go ahead and redunk. But again, if there's ever a doubt, is this working, just redunk. It's not gonna hurt anything except for maybe your flow, your efficiency, but I don't know. Ivan, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, it's better to be safe than scratched. Not that we're gonna scratch anything. We've washed the car completely, so not a big concern, but nonetheless, always dunk. And this is an extreme case. We have a lot more foam than we normally would, but you wanna make sure your towel stays clean, and when you do dunk it, any contamination you picked up, you've released back into the bucket.
So with all this foam on the paint, do we even need the iron remover?
We don't need the iron remover for lubrication, but I'm sure there's iron particles embedded in this paint.
No pressure on the towel. Talk about how important that is and why.
Pressure on your towel is instant marring. You don't need pressure. Pressure actually slows you down and you won't do as good a job if you're using pressure. The decontamination towel does not need pressure to work.
Am I using the decon towel in plastics?
Yes. One other question we get asked is, can you do this on PPF? Well, from here forward, this whole vehicle has paint protection film on it. C6 paint protection film, actually.
Now, we started with so much lubrication, you may be in a case where, oh my gosh, I've run out of incredible suds on the panel, but Ivan just said you wash and then you do one spray on the towel and one spray on the paint. If your panel has dried up on you, it is so simple. Grab your wash media, distribute the incredible suds back on there. You don't have to put that much, and then use your spray with the decon towel. You want to leverage the incredible suds as your bed of lubrication, and then go ahead and use your decontamination towel. Again, always using common sense.
Rinse it away, Nick.
Spraying away from the vehicle, always a good safety measure. You'd think we'd be done, folks, but for Ivan's vehicle, we got to give it the royal treatment. One more step.
Right, little water spot remover. And we like to think of this more as a mineral cleanse. There's no water spots on the vehicle, but there are minerals that are attaching themselves to the paint. And even if you have a coating, those minerals are very tenacious.
I'm positioning the hose strategically because I really liked working from the back to the front, then doing the rear hatch, and then working my way around. So I've got the hose right there ready, because I rinsed one way, it worked. Yeah. Let's keep it going. I'm always thinking ahead. It's like I've been working with you for a while. Planning, efficiency, and being meticulous is not about being a robot, it's about saving time. Yeah. And when you save time, it's actually more fun.
Now, I'm even putting a water spot remover on the wheels, because we know those are also covered in minerals. And that's something that a lot of people think, oh, the coating on my wheels has failed. It's not because your coating has failed, it's because it's clogged.
You know why we're really doing this full decon, Ivan? It's for Sylvie. Yes. To make her happy.
Right.
She wants a clean, decontaminated vehicle, and she deserves it. She's behind the camera, so is that what you want? Yeah, she's nodding her. Yeah, she does. We're taking care of her. Now, usually you're the one who gets on me for too much product. That seems like a lot of product, Ivan.
Well, we know that these lower areas are very contaminated, so just letting it dwell on there a few seconds before we agitate it in. Now, normally at this step, we use a rinseless dampened towel, but now we're going to use an incredible suds dampened towel because that's what we have in our buckets. The technique remains the same. We don't want a wet towel, we want a damp towel.
Why not just use my wash mitt?
Because it will actually damage your wash mitt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's why we don't put this back in our wash bucket afterwards either. We don't want it damaging our wash mitt, our brush, our sponge. So definitely the mechanical decontamination has been done. The towel glides easily over the surface.
Why did you wring it out so much? Your towel.
I'm spreading the product. I'm not trying to absorb it off the surface, and I'm not trying to get the surface wet again.
Let's say you had used your wash mitt to spread the water spot remover. What would you do to save it?
Rinse it out immediately, and then look at it and say, I'm sorry, I'm never going to do that again.
Sounds like something I would say. I talk to my detailing equipment sometimes. Well, I really want to flip my towel right now, but I'm resisting the urge.
Yeah, it is a habit that we all have as detailers.
I really want to put pressure on it, but I'm resisting the urge.
Yeah. All we're doing is a light agitation, spreading it. You know, the last red car we had in here was not as bright as this. Because of the coating, this is reacting extremely well to the decontamination. and the brightness and the gloss are bouncing right back. Now that we have that little cloak of minerals removed.
Does it feel good to wash your own vehicle once in a while, Ivan?
Yes, it does. It's a necessary thing.
Well, we watched everyone else's on the camera. I'm just wondering, we give yours the love it deserves, and they wonder if it feels different.
No different, but it'll be nicer to drive afterwards.
I even like driving a clean rental car when we do, my rental car.
Yeah.
Boy, that roof is already beating up quite a bit.
Yeah, there's a lot less mineral contamination on the roof where we drive. Now, if you're by a coastal area and you get that salty morning dew, you're gonna have a lot of mineral contamination on the roof and on the hood, but not necessarily on the sides. Whereas us, we drive through rain and sleet and snow, so we get the mineral contamination on the sides. Nice thing about this, I can see where Nick has been, I can see where I've been. So I was able to reach far enough across the roof to be able to make sure we got everywhere. When we're done with these towels, we wring them out, we rinse them, and we're not gonna put them back in our bucket, we're gonna launder them with our other towels. And you see I missed a little corner here, so let me get that. There we go.
What's a sufficient rinsing? What am I doing with this rinsing step, Ivan?
We're getting the water spot remover out of the towel so the acid doesn't damage anything. Now it's lactic acid. It's not like we're using a heavy industrial wheel acid or pool cleaning acid, but we are using an acid. So we want to make sure it's rinsed up.
Always, again, with the tip off the paint. Okay, Ivan, your hood looks pretty amazing now.
Yeah.
See, didn't it need this?
It did.
It didn't have any protection products added, just the decon step, and those fat water beads. That's why we coat a car. At least I do.
Sylvie's favorite drying aid, it is her car after all, is C6 Mist.
So what are you doing here?
Well, this is known as a drying aid, but also a rinsing aid. So we're gonna use it like we would quick beads, but in the mist form. And as the name suggests, once you got the sprayer going, just a mist on the surface.
If folks have never used mist as a spray and rinse, what do they need to know?
It's incredibly rewarding, it's fun, and it was designed to be this way.
Ooh, it smells nice here in the shop too.
Yeah. Now, mist is one of my favorite products as well. Now, if you wanted additional protection, you'd use quick beads. If you want to do a rinse. If you wanted additional protection, you'd use Envy Ceramic Sealant as your drying aid. We don't need additional protection. This has C6 Diamond on it. We just want a bit of gloss and we want to make our drying safer. That's what we're doing here. So let's rinse this off. Now, just like any good rinse aid, you're not trying to rinse it off, you're trying to distribute it using your pressure washer. So just like we do quick beads, I'm gonna do the whole length of the side in one motion. You see that little sudsing action? That's what we want. I want to move that line of suds forward. That way I'm distributing the mist everywhere. Now, on the hood, since it's sloping towards me, I want to use that to my advantage. I want to use gravity to my advantage. So what I'm doing here is moving it up the hood. I'm actually going to go around the rest of the vehicle. One last step, a little bit of quick beads on the wheels. Because for the wheels, I do want additional protection. I purposely stretched out my pressure washer hose. That way it's going to make it a lot easier for me to wind it up on the reel.
Well, that's smart. I've washed a couple cars in my day, Ivan. I believe this is the time that we dry.
That is correct, Nick.
I'm just playing around with the drying blanket. We've washed about 4 cars today. It's very wet. It still does a phenomenal job of drying. The pull method is actually Not just for Instagram. Sometimes I just need to cover a lot of real estate quickly.
Yep.
It tends to work well on coated vehicles too, because they just dry so easily. Is there anything to that? A coated car dries easier?
Oh, it dries much, much easier. And it's super humid in here from all the water we've been spraying around. And it's a humid day outside too, so the air conditioning is having a bit of a task keeping up. But just one pass with the towel and it's dry.
Is this why you should ceramic coat your car?
This is one of the many reasons you should ceramic coat your car.
And is ceramic coating your car easy to do?
It is so easy, it makes wax look difficult.
Perhaps there's a video on how folks might actually ceramic coat their vehicle if they think they're ready for the task.
Well, actually, there's a video on this exact vehicle.
Oh, there is?
Right, and it's right about here.